document my 1997 Buick GNX today, and I just want to give you some highlights about the car and tell you a little bit about it. The car was purchased in Manitoba, Canada from a private owner. The car was listed in Kijiji, and currently today I am the fourth owner of this car. The car was purchased from the third owner from the owners of the Pontiac Buick in Manitoba, Canada. It's a car dealership, and from what I understand, the dealership had two of these cars, and this one became available, and the third owner had picked it up, and he had owned it for a couple years, I don't think more than two, and then the car became available. So I purchased this car back in September of 2010 with 11,833 miles, and we'll get around showing you the interior, but for now I have the hood open on this car, and I just want to show you the engine of this car. So if you can come in here a little bit more. As you can see, it's got the GNX turbo in it with the GNX shield. It's got the upgraded Duttweiler mech on the intercooler, and this intercooler here is actually from a Grand National. It's not the actual GNX intercooler. I have the actual intercooler in my basement in my house, and that's all tucked away. So there's that way the car can be bring back to original specs if the person, whoever owns it after me, decides to do that. This car also has LP injection in it. This car is the kit is specifically made for the Buick Grand National, and because of the terrible gas that we run here in Canada, this LP injection is so necessary to prevent detonation, which is very detrimental to these cars, especially when a turbo car, because you can blow the cylinder head gaskets within no time flat if you ever have a knock of any sort. So as you can see with this engine here, we have the LP injection feeding into the inlet tube here. The inlet tube has been ceramic coated. Again, the original tube is in my basement, tucked away nicely. It's also got other upgrades, such as the cold air intake kit, and this is from Kerbin Performance. It feeds into a 4-inch air filter, which is down by the fender, and it's a true cold air intake because because it does go all the way down to the bottom of the air dam. With this, other upgrades are such as the AccuFab fuel pressure regulator, and that is only necessary because the fact that this car runs a turbo tweak chip inside the ECM. So the turbo tweak chip is very specific that it needs a certain amount of PSI, which the factory fuel pressure regulator cannot do. So this one here is customizable, whereas the factory one you cannot. So other upgrades in this car, just let me refer back to the sheet here. We have things in here such as things that the GNX, I guess, would have, like the fender vents in here. These are totally functional. So you have one on the driver's side, one on the passenger side. And also with the GNX, it comes with a slightly more fins per row intercooler. And again, this one here is from a Grand National, but I have the other one tucked away in my basement. And also with the GNX, you would also get the wider wheels and the different wheels that the Grand National would have. So the front ones here are 245s, 50 16s, and the back ones I believe are 255s. So they're staggered, and Buick meant to do that on purpose, just for the matter that I guess more rubber in the back, the more traction you have. And with these wider wheels, it was necessary for the GNX to have the fender wheel flares on the car. Also with the GNX, which is not really visible, is that it has the aluminum rear brake drums in the car. With all other cars, you'd always get the cast aluminum brake drums, so this one here has the aluminum ones. Okay, going back to the engine compartment here before I close off here, we have the upgraded accumulator ball for the brake, which is the problematic electric brake system that Buick has in this car. This had to be upgraded because the old one had failed, and they also have a prone recall on these brake switches as well, which this one has been upgraded from GM. To the day that I've owned this car, I've never had any problems with this electric brake system, but I have heard of horror stories from other people. And the only reason why they have these electric brake systems in these cars is because it's a turbocharged car and a wide open throttle. You'll get zero vacuum to operate the brakes, so that's why to have electric brake you'd have power at the brake pedal at wide open throttle. So other than that, there's not much else to talk about in the engine here as far as any other upgrades. It's very subtle upgrades that I've done to this car, and believe me, with the upgrades I've done in this car, it's probably as much as you want to do to a GNX without actually changing anything, without able to change it back. And this car does perform very, very nicely. So I'm going to close the hood here so we can get a complete shot of the entire car. So, and you can see the condition of this car for 14,000 miles. To me, I go through this car and clean it. It's totally flawless. I think there's only a couple flaws that I can point out to you on this car. And on this bumper strip here, you can see that there's a little bit of a mark on here. And other than that, the bumpers itself are mint. They're totally so other things with a Buick Grand National or any these type of G-body cars, another way to tell if these cars have been sitting in the sun or have been not very well taken care of, or these things called bumper fillers. You'll have these in the front and the back. They're made out of plastic and they're painted to the same color of the car. And what happens is when these cars sit out in the sun for years going on and seeing all the elements of Mother Nature, these will tend to crack and the paint will actually flake off on these items here. So these always tend to crack and need to be replaced, but as you can see, this car is unrestored, and these are the bumper fillers from this car, the original ones. The rims are all original condition. The only thing that has been changed on the car are the tires itself. The Goodyear gator backs have been removed. They're in my basement, and I had to put on fresh tires because I do drive this to the car show once in a while, and we did not want any incidents due to dry rot tires. So there is a little chip on the windshield here. Now another thing about GNX is that they're all known to be hardtop cars. Myself, I purchased this car from the third owner, and the car does have an ASC moonroof in the car. You can film that just to show that it is an ASC moonroof. Because ASC, they're the people that was assigned to by GM to do the 547 Buick GNXs to convert the cars. And I believe there was only ever one that was on YouTube that was owned by a Marriott owner that had power moonroof installed by ASC, but I believe this car here has got to be done by ASC itself, because if we look at the interior here, Brian, if you can show the ASC power moonroof switch in the top. Again, that's ASC, the switch. Okay, the GNX badge number. You can have a look at the interior. Interior is just like it is from the factory. Nothing's been changed in here. There's no big stereo. Everything works in here except for the power antenna, but the radio still works. I was told that power antennas on these cars, especially the GNX, it involves removing the entire passenger fender, and that's something that I'm not prepared to do in case I damage the fender, but I understand there are replacement parts that a person can get for the antenna, but again, it involves removing the fender. Looking at these seats are very unique to this GNX. They're Recaro bucket seats, and they're very, very comfortable, and also they're very form-fitting, so that way when you take corners or do any types of stops, it's a very comfortable seat to sit in. As you can see, the sides are very form-fitting. They're totally adjustable. We have adjustable lumbar that comes out here, and the sides that can adjust as well to adjust how tight you'd like the seats to hold you in. And they're all done to the same material as the GNX or the Grand National interior, including the Buick V6 and Sigma on the headrest. If a person ever wants to convert the cars back to factory original seats, easy to do. Other than that, it's got the GNX floor mats, which I have covered up with towels on it just so I don't get them stained. Brand new floor mats. Just keeping them in there just for car shows. And a thing that a person may want to know about too is the driver's seat. The switches that are onto the right of the seat, those buttons are to do with lumbar support, the power leaner, so the back seat power leans back and forth, and they're also heated. So one button there is for the heated seats, another button there is to pump up the lumbar support, and the 3 light colored blue buttons are to relieve the pressure in the 3 lumbar bags that are in there for your seat, your mid back, and your upper back. So, and then you got the power leaner. So that seat is very, very accommodating to anyone that sits in the car. And I could assume that those seats are specific to Recaro, the Recaro buckets. Okay. I'll show you the trunk. It's got a lot of stuff in there, so I apologize for that. I'm getting ready to take this car to a car show this weekend. And again, here are the rear bumper fillers. You can see that they're in really, really good shape. And the rear bumper fillers go from the entire length of the back of the car. So again, they're not cracked, the paint is not distorted. So this is the trunk of the car. Original spare tire is all tucked away inside here. This is the ID tag of the car, so if you have a look at this, if you want to look at if it's a true GNX, the code will be a 2TL. That tells you that this car was picked from GM to go to AC McLaren to get the GNX upgrade. So that's one way to tell for the GNX. There's the trunk here. So just to show you the sheen of the paint, you can see I'm holding a white piece of paper with the lettering. I don't know if you can kind of see the reflection on that, but there is like no distortion on that whatsoever. This car has been babied since I've owned it and always been hand polished. I've got many hours into this car, rubbing very expensive waxes for this car. You can see the sides of this car. It's laser straight, so if I can kind of show down the side. So this car's got dual exhaust. The factory catalytic converter is still in this car. Another defect I can show you on this car, and it's to do with this back bumper impact strip. I believe there's a slight flaw in this one here as well. So the front and the back has that, but the bumper itself is in perfect shape. We'll have a look at the driver's side now. And then, as you can see, the driver's seat, it still has the power seat to tilt it, move it back and forth. So it's got the regular Buick GNX power seat feature in there, but as well as those other Recaro features that I showed you. So here, I'll demonstrate the power seat leaner in this car. So you can see that, it's moving. And then this is the one that fills the lumbar bag. So that's the pump. And then these are the 3 buttons, how you ever want to release the air for your comfort. And then this one here is just for the heated seat feature, so turning it on will heat up the seat. But this car never sees the code, so that's a feature that would never be used in this car. So I'll go around to the other side and we'll show you how the power moonroof works in this car. We'll demonstrate the power moonroof. So the power moonroof, this is to open it. So that just shows you the roof totally functional as it should be. The interior trim on this piece as well that covers the material, it's all excellent. None of the interior here has a falling headline or anything, which is prone with these cars after sitting for a few years. Headliner in this car is mint. And it also has the feature of tilting as well. So now that the roof is closed, we'll tilt the roof. There you go. So that's the tilting feature, which is very nice for this car when you're cruising and you don't want to turn on the air conditioner. Another feature that we have in this car, and it's because I drive this car once in a while, it needs a Scan Master. Every Buick GNX or Grand National, as long as you're willing to drive it, should have one of these Scan Masters, because it'll tell you any malfunction codes with the engine or anything that you need to know about the motor. It's all in this Scan Master here. Again, totally removable. Below it I have the alky injection, which you can adjust from high to low, how much spray you want to spray your engine, so that way no detonation will happen, and very safe for the car to run as well too. Right now with this car here, I'm running 50% methanol and 50% water. If you need to run a stronger concentration, you can definitely do that, but as it sits, this car runs very strong the way it sits with the current setup. Okay, so I guess the next one we can do is the startup of the car. We'll do that right now. That is what a Buick GNX bumper or exhaust muffler sounds like. Anyone that has ever seen a Buick GNX mufflers, they're very small mufflers that have been actually squished. It looks like it's been put into a vise and has actually been compressed, and they're all wrinkled and crumpled. And they do that on purpose just to clear the extra suspension pieces that they have on these cars. I think they had some clearance issues, and in order to get these mufflers to fit, they had to do that. So Ryan, I don't know if you can see the actual bottom suspension of this car as well. It's got the ladder bar suspension with the panhard bar. That's the bottom there. And it's got the expensive Bilstein shocks all the way around. These shocks are made in Germany, and they're very pricey, but again, it just helps with the handling of this car. We can go for a test drive with this thing. I'll show you guys how this car drives. Okay, so the light's going to be turning green here right away, and we'll just give this GNX here a little bit of gas, and just to show you the acceleration of this car. This car is right now going 80 miles an hour. I put the brake on probably about 3 seconds ago. So this car definitely accelerates very hard, and now it's on a roll. The car will only pull even harder, believe it or not, if it's at a total standstill. We can go on a roll here, and we'll try to get it so that it hits passing gear, so to speak. So it's going to go from, say, the fourth gear down to the third gear, because this car is a 4-speed automatic in this car, or a 3-speed with an overdrive. It's kind of the same thing, but we'll try to do that. But there is quite a bit of traffic up front, so we won't do anything too crazy, but this car will get up to 100 miles an hour, I'm sure of it, in a quarter mile. It's probably like a high 12 car, high to mid 12 car the way it sits. And we'll try to get some passing point here. So again, as you can see, picks up very quickly. This car I have no problem whatsoever getting into the next lane if you ever had to merge into traffic. We're going to go around to the bridge here, and then we'll do so we'll try to get a little bit more of a standstill takeoff here before the traffic comes in. Here we go. tires back there, and I don't want to do that to this car. These tires are very expensive. The panhard bar, the ladder bar suspension kind of thing really does help a lot for this car with the horsepower that it currently has. So we'll go here and we'll try to hit passing gear, and again we'll show you how fast this car can potentially accelerate, and here we go. Just going back to see if there was any knock in this car. It said 0.2, very acceptable. That 0.2 could be a result from not coming from the engine, but from other things inside around the engine compartment, say the transmission shifting gears, things like that. So this car has like 0 knock. I could have showed you the boost gauge, but this boost gauge will hit 15 in no time. So pretty sure that this car is probably pushing maybe 16 or 17 pounds of boost. Again, with this car, with the current gas situation, I'm not running any airplane gas in this car or anything like that. So the way this car is dialed in is just great for the 91 octane that we currently have here in the city, combined with LK injection. More than enough for the city. Very happy with the performance in this car. On the car again once more, and then we'll open up the hood and you guys can see the engine running, and we'll take some side shots and just to show you how laser straight this car is. Of that, but no distortion whatsoever. You can kind of hear with the Buick here that none of the Grand Nationals ever had a very stable idle. They have a little bit of a lumpy idle, and you can kind of hear that in this car. Again, really no difference from a GNX engine to a Grand National. All the same internal parts. The only thing you're going to get different is just the turbo itself, with the ceramic impeller versus a normal one. Okay, we're going to open up the hood here and let you guys see the engine run. There is one piece that I do want to have filmed on this, Ryan. This dashboard piece inside the interior is the only piece that's has a crack in it, and again that's just due to sun, but they do make those aftermarket, and you can buy and install those as well. Engine just purrs like a kitten. Nothing in this engine's been replaced. As far as the factory pieces go, factory coil, factory injectors, aftermarket breathers, of course, they're chrome, original radiator. Hope you guys enjoyed the video, and talk to you again soon.
This is as far as I can go, but still I can't say no. I can't say no.